In a world where politics often feels distant and unrelatable, some stories break through, stories that remind us that leadership can be born anywhere, even from the red soils of Kampala, Uganda. This is one of those stories. Meet Zohran Kwame Mamdani, a Ugandan-born, New York-raised trailblazer who has risen to become one of the most progressive and outspoken voices in American politics today. A young man of vision and conviction, whose journey from Africa's heart to America's biggest city is a powerful testament that dreams truly have no borders. Zohran isn't just another politician. He's a community organizer, a son of immigrants, and a proud representative of New York's 36th district in Astoria, Queens, a vibrant community of working-class families, dreamers, and everyday people he continues to fight for. But what makes his story even more extraordinary is not just where he is now, but where he came from. From his birth in Kampala, the same city that beats as the heart of Uganda, to his journey across continents, Zohran's life has been shaped by courage, curiosity, and a deep belief in justice for all. His mother, Mira Nair, is a world-renowned filmmaker who taught him the power of storytelling. His father, Mahmood Mamdani, a celebrated scholar and thinker, taught him the importance of questioning the world around him. Together, their influence gave Zohran something rare, a fearless voice with global roots and a local purpose. Today, he stands as a bridge between worlds, Africa and America, past and future, showing millions across the diaspora that identity is not a limitation, but a foundation for greatness. And as his movement grows, one question echoes louder than ever. Could this son of Kampala one day rise all the way to the mayor's office of New York City? This is Zohran Mamdani's story, a story of purpose, identity, and unstoppable ambition. A story that proves that no matter where you're from, if your dream burns bright enough, the world will feel your light. Born in Kampala, the Ugandan Roots. Before the busy streets of New York, before the speeches, the campaigns, and the city lights, there was Kampala. A city alive with rhythm, resilience, and endless stories. It was here, in Uganda's capital, that Zohran Kwame Mamdani first opened his eyes to the world. Born to a family that carried both intellect and creativity, his roots were planted in a land known for its warmth, community, and unwavering spirit. His father, Mahmood Mamdani, is one of Uganda's most respected scholars, a thinker who has challenged systems and inspired generations through his work on politics, identity, and justice. His mother, Mira Nair, is an award-winning filmmaker whose stories have brought African and Indian narratives to global screens, reminding the world that our cultures, our people, and our voices matter. From his earliest days, Zohran's world was filled with ideas, conversations, and creativity. He was surrounded by stories of Africa, its beauty, its struggles, and its unstoppable energy. Even though his family would soon move abroad, Uganda remained a part of his soul, a quiet force shaping how he viewed the world. Growing up with these roots gave Zohran something powerful, a deep understanding of where he comes from, and a sense of pride in it. He understood early on that to dream big, you must first know your story, and honor the people who came before you. Every visit back home to Uganda reminded him of community, of people working hard together, lifting each other up despite challenges. That sense of unity, that belief that progress begins at the grassroots, would later become the foundation of his politics and leadership. Uganda gave Zohran more than a birthplace, it gave him a beginning, a compass that would guide his values as he grew. Even in the heart of New York City, he carries Kampala within him, in his humility, his drive for justice, and his belief that no one should be left behind. And so, from the warm hills of Uganda to the concrete skyline of New York, Zohran's journey reminds us all that no matter how far we travel, our roots remain the foundation of who we are. Moving to the United States, the new beginning. Narrator, slow, calm, warm tone, from the vibrant streets of Kampala to the bustling avenues of New York City. Zohran Mamdani's life took a dramatic turn. As a young child, his family made the courageous decision to leave Uganda. The move was not just a change of address, it was a leap into a world vastly different from the one they knew. A world of new languages, new customs, and new challenges. For Zohran, the transition was both exciting and daunting. He encountered the hum of New York's subways, the tall skyline, and neighborhoods full of diversity and opportunity. Yet, with all the possibilities, there were moments of adjustment, understanding a new culture, finding his place in classrooms, and bridging the gap between his Ugandan heritage and his American surroundings. His parents were steadfast guides through this journey. His father, Mahmood Mamdani, continued to instill lessons of critical thinking, justice, and curiosity. His mother, Mira Nair, taught him the power of storytelling, the importance of expressing who you are, even in a foreign land. Through these early experiences in America, Zohran began to understand that opportunity comes with responsibility. He realized that to thrive, he would need to embrace both worlds, carry his Ugandan roots with pride, while learning to navigate the opportunities and challenges of his new home. It was here, amidst the streets and communities of New York, that the foundation for his future leadership was quietly forming. A young boy from Kampala was learning resilience, empathy, and the power of community, lessons that would guide him in the years to come. And so began Zohran Mamdani's journey in the United States, a journey of adaptation, growth, and the relentless pursuit of possibilities. From the familiar hills of Uganda to the endless skyline of New York, he was stepping into a world where dreams could be as big as his ambition, and where his story would eventually inspire millions across continents. Education and early activism. Education is often more than just lessons in a classroom. For some, it becomes the spark that ignites purpose, passion, and a calling to make a difference. For Zohran Mamdani, school and college were not just places to study, they were the arenas where his understanding of the world, justice, and civic responsibility began to take shape. Growing up in New York, Zohran attended schools that exposed him to a rich tapestry of cultures, ideas, and challenges. Here, he observed firsthand the struggles of communities often overlooked, families working tirelessly to make ends meet, neighborhoods grappling with inequality, and young people striving to have their voices heard. It was during these formative years that Zohran's political consciousness began to awaken. He realized that knowledge without action was incomplete, that education could empower not just himself, but his community. In college, he immersed himself in discussions about justice, equity, and policy. He engaged in student organizations, debates, and community initiatives that challenged the status quo. Each project, each conversation, and each moment of leadership taught him a fundamental truth, that change is possible when people organize, speak out, and take responsibility for their communities. Zohran's activism during these years was not just theoretical. He participated in grassroots campaigns, volunteered for local causes, and lent his voice to issues affecting immigrants, youth, and marginalized communities. Through these experiences, he learned the delicate balance of listening, leading, and inspiring others, skills that would later define his political journey. By the time he graduated, Zohran Mamdani had not only acquired knowledge, he had developed vision, empathy, and a profound commitment to serve. His education had given him the tools to think critically, act decisively, and advocate passionately, laying the foundation for a political career that would bridge communities, countries, and cultures. And so, equipped with knowledge, experience, and a desire to make a difference, Zohran was ready to step into the next chapter of his journey, life in New York, and the first steps toward political leadership. Life in New York, finding his purpose. New York City, a place of endless energy, opportunity, and diversity. For many, it is a city of dreams. For Zohran Mamdani, it was also a city of awakening. Living in New York exposed him to a world that was both inspiring and challenging. He saw the towering skyline, the bustling streets, and the countless possibilities, yet he also saw inequality, injustice, and the struggles faced by immigrants and working-class communities. From overcrowded neighborhoods to underfunded schools, from families striving to make ends meet to young people seeking guidance and opportunity, Zohran witnessed firsthand the barriers that prevent so many from realizing their potential. These experiences shaped his perspective. He realized that talent and ambition alone were not enough, that true change required action, organization, and advocacy. The struggles he observed were not distant statistics, they were lived realities, and they ignited a deep desire within him to do something meaningful. Zohran began volunteering, participating in community initiatives, and engaging with local organizations. He listened to the stories of immigrants, small business owners, and families navigating complex systems. He saw the power of community, how collective effort, empathy, and leadership could transform lives. It was in this environment, a city of contrasts, challenges, and opportunity, that Zohran discovered his purpose. He understood that leadership was not about titles or recognition, but about giving a voice to the voiceless, advocating for justice, and working tirelessly to build a better community for all. And so, the young man from Kampala, grounded in his roots and driven by what he saw around him, began his journey toward political engagement, activism, and ultimately, public service. Inspiration from his parents, the influence of Mahmood Mamdani and Mira Nair. Behind every great leader, there are influences that quietly shape their character, values, and vision. For Zohran Mamdani, those influences came from two extraordinary individuals, his parents. His father, Mahmood Mamdani, is a world-renowned scholar and thinker. Through his writings and teachings, Mahmood inspired critical thought, challenged conventional ideas, and encouraged questioning systems of power. From a young age, Zohran was immersed in discussions about justice, politics, and history, learning to see the world not only as it is, but as it could be. His mother, Mira Nair, is a celebrated filmmaker whose stories have reached audiences across the globe. Through her films, she taught Zohran the power of storytelling, how narratives shape understanding, connect communities, and give voice to those who are often unheard. She showed him that creativity is not just about art, but about empathy, perspective, and the courage to share truth. Growing up under the guidance of such remarkable parents, Zohran learned to balance logic with imagination, to think deeply while feeling profoundly, and to approach problems with both intellect and heart. Their influence went beyond academics or career advice. It shaped his worldview, instilling in him values of integrity, empathy, social responsibility, and the courage to challenge inequality. It nurtured his creativity, his voice, and his belief that leadership is about serving others, not oneself. In many ways, the lessons from Mahmood and Mira were the foundation upon which Zohran would build his political journey. A journey rooted in knowledge, vision, and compassion, ready to bridge communities across continents. Political awakening, standing up for justice. Narrator: slow, warm, confident tone. Knowledge and values are powerful, but purpose is what turns ideas into action. For Zohran Mamdani, that moment of purpose came from witnessing the challenges faced by the communities around him. Living in New York, he saw inequality firsthand, families struggling to access affordable housing, immigrants navigating complex systems, and young people searching for opportunities that seemed out of reach. These weren't distant statistics, they were real stories, close to home, demanding attention. Zohran began engaging with his community, volunteering at local organizations, attending neighborhood meetings, and participating in grassroots initiatives. He discovered the power of community organizing, how listening to people, understanding their struggles, and working collectively could lead to meaningful change. He also became involved in protests and advocacy campaigns that reflected his commitment to justice and equality. Each march, each petition, each conversation reinforced a central truth, that leadership is not about ambition alone, but about service, and that change starts with courage and action. These experiences shaped his political awakening. Zohran realized that his voice, his skills, and his values could be used to advocate for those who often go unheard. He understood that stepping into politics was not just a career choice, it was a responsibility, a continuation of the principles instilled in him by his parents, and a way to transform his vision for justice into tangible results. And so, from volunteering in local communities to standing on the front lines of advocacy, Zohran Mamdani's journey toward political leadership had begun. A journey fueled by empathy, courage, and an unwavering commitment to make the world around him a fairer, better place. The campaign, against all odds. Every great journey has its challenges, and for Zohran Mamdani, the road to political leadership was no exception. Running for the New York State Assembly, he faced hurdles that many candidates might find daunting. As a young, progressive, immigrant candidate, Zohran had to navigate a political landscape often dominated by experience, established networks, and conventional expectations. Voters asked questions: could a young man, born in Uganda and raised in New York, truly understand their struggles? Could he balance his ideals with practical solutions? For Zohran, these questions weren't barriers, they were opportunities to connect. He walked the streets of Queens, knocking on doors, meeting families, and listening, really listening, to their hopes, fears, and dreams. He spoke to small business owners, immigrants, young people, and seniors alike. He shared his vision for affordable housing, social justice, and community empowerment, and he did so with authenticity, empathy, and passion. But the journey wasn't easy. There were moments of doubt, skepticism, and the weight of expectation. Fundraising, canvassing, and competing against seasoned politicians tested his resolve. Yet, with every challenge, Zohran's determination grew stronger. He relied on the lessons from his upbringing, the values of empathy, resilience, and courage instilled by his parents, and the experiences from his activism in New York communities. Through perseverance, connection, and unwavering commitment, Zohran Mamdani began to build momentum. He became a voice for change, inspiring voters to believe that leadership could be bold, inclusive, and grounded in justice. And finally, after months of tireless campaigning, advocacy, and engagement, his efforts bore fruit. Zohran Mamdani won, not just a seat in the assembly, but the trust of a diverse and vibrant community. Against the odds, a young man from Kampala had transformed activism into leadership. He had proven that vision, dedication, and authenticity could overcome skepticism, inexperience, and doubt. The victory, making history. After months of dedication, determination, and tireless engagement, the moment arrived. Zohran Mamdani had won his seat in the New York State Assembly. It was more than a personal triumph, it was a historic moment. For immigrants, his victory was a beacon of possibility. It showed that no matter where you come from, your voice, your vision, and your hard work can lead to meaningful change. For young people, it was a call to action. Age is not a barrier to leadership. Passion, courage, and commitment are what truly matter when it comes to shaping the future. For Ugandans and the global diaspora, Zohran's win resonated deeply. Here was someone who carried the spirit of Kampala in his heart, someone who bridged continents and cultures, proving that dreams rooted in one part of the world can blossom anywhere. Zohran's victory symbolized representation, hope, and the power of community. It was a reminder that politics is not just about positions of power, it is about lifting voices, standing for justice, and making the world a better place for those around you. From the streets of Queens to the halls of the Assembly, Zohran Mamdani had made history. But this was not the end of his journey, it was a beginning. A beginning that would inspire countless others to dream boldly, act courageously, and believe in the power of possibility. Challenges in the political arena. Victory is never the full story. For Zohran Mamdani, stepping into politics meant navigating a complex landscape of criticism, resistance, and systemic barriers. As a young, progressive, immigrant leader, he faced skepticism from those accustomed to established power. Many questioned his experience. Others doubted whether his bold ideas could succeed in a system often resistant to change. Criticism came in many forms, from political opponents, media scrutiny, and even from within the communities he sought to represent. Yet, Zohran understood that leadership is not about avoiding resistance, it is about standing firm in the face of it, guided by values and vision. He encountered systemic challenges as well, navigating a political system steeped in tradition, bureaucracy, and sometimes, inequity. Pushing for progressive policies, equitable representation, and meaningful reforms often required strategy, patience, and relentless advocacy. Through it all, Zohran relied on resilience, critical thinking, and the lessons from his upbringing. He listened, learned, and adapted, but never compromised his principles. Every barrier he faced became an opportunity to refine his approach, strengthen his convictions, and inspire others to join his mission. This is the real side of leadership, the challenges, the setbacks, and the moments that test your resolve. And yet, it is these very challenges that shape a leader, forging courage, wisdom, and an unwavering commitment to serve. Despite obstacles, Zohran Mamdani continues to fight for justice, equity, and community empowerment, proving that change is possible even within the toughest political arenas. The Ugandan American identity. Identity is more than a name or a place of birth. For Zohran Mamdani, it is a bridge between continents, a fusion of culture, values, and experiences that inform every decision he makes. Born in Kampala, Uganda, and raised in New York City, Zohran carries both worlds within him. He embodies the vibrant spirit of his Ugandan roots, a love for community, resilience in the face of challenges, and pride in a heritage rich with history and culture. At the same time, he embraces the opportunities and diversity of American life, the freedom to speak, to organize, and to lead with progressive ideas. He understands the values and systems of his adopted home, while honoring the lessons and traditions passed down from his family and culture. This balance is more than personal, it shapes his work as a leader. In his policies, community engagement, and advocacy, Zohran represents both Ugandan pride and American responsibility, serving as a voice for immigrants, youth, and underrepresented communities alike. For the Ugandan diaspora and immigrant communities, he is a symbol, a living example that it is possible to remain connected to your roots while thriving in a new world. Through his life and work, Zohran demonstrates that identity is not a limitation, it is a source of strength, perspective, and empathy. By honoring his heritage while embracing his American experience, Zohran Mamdani continues to build bridges, inspire communities, and lead with authenticity. His Ugandan American identity is not just a story of two places, it is a story of connection, resilience, and the power to bring people together. Leadership vision, from assembly to mayorship. Leadership is not just about holding a position, it is about vision, purpose, and the courage to pursue change on a larger scale. For Zohran Mamdani, his journey in the New York State Assembly is only one step in a broader vision. As a young, ambitious, and progressive leader, Zohran has long-term goals that extend beyond his current role. He dreams of transforming systems, empowering communities, and creating policies that leave a lasting impact, not just for his district, but for the entire city of New York. The idea of becoming New York City mayor carries both symbolic and political significance. Symbolically, it represents the triumph of dreams rooted in determination and diversity, a journey from Kampala to the heart of one of the world's greatest cities. It would signal hope for immigrants, young leaders, and underrepresented communities, showing that leadership is accessible to those who work tirelessly and lead with integrity. Politically, the role of mayor would give Zohran the platform to implement bold, progressive policies, tackling issues like housing affordability, education equity, and social justice reforms. It would be a chance to bring his vision of inclusive governance, community empowerment, and systemic change to life on the largest scale. Yet, this ambition is grounded in experience, strategy, and the lessons he has learned along the way, from community organizing to legislative service. Zohran's leadership vision is not about personal gain. It is about service, responsibility, and leaving a legacy of progress and equity for future generations. From the streets of Kampala to the assembly chambers of New York, his journey illustrates a simple truth: leadership is about turning dreams into action, and action into meaningful change. And as Zohran continues to rise, the question remains, could this visionary leader one day hold the highest office in the city he serves, becoming a mayor who embodies the hopes of millions, while carrying the spirit of Kampala with him? Zohran Mamdani's journey reminds us of a powerful truth: where you come from does not determine how far you can go. From the bustling streets of Kampala, where his roots were planted, to the towering skyline of New York City, where his vision unfolds, Zohran has shown that dreams know no borders, and determination knows no limits. His story is more than a personal triumph. It is a message to immigrants, young leaders, and dreamers everywhere, that courage, resilience, and a commitment to justice can carry you farther than you ever imagined. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the notification bell and subscribe to our channel, so you never miss another epic story from Uganda and beyond. And remember, tomorrow we will be back with yet another epic Ugandan story, one that will inspire, inform, and remind us all of the power of dreams, determination, and heritage. Because Zohran's journey proves that no matter where you start, your story can reach the world.